Travelled into the straight down to the 350 by 2 lengths. Kieran Nutter, 8 Bills running on well. Sky Train's getting a run up near the inside. He's about to hit the detonator and run on strongly. Parthian wide out and Youthful Jack. Here's Sky Train. Sky Train bursting through in the centre. He went up and hit the lead. Sky Train running on Youthful Jack on the outside with Parthian. Sky Train in front. He deserved it. Sky Train by a length, and it was a lovely ride as well.
Yeah, it was an outstanding ride from Christian Reith, who is probably the in-form rider anywhere going around at the moment. Sky Train, a non-winner, effectively, cuddled up run, beautiful ride, didn't have to use the whip too much and wins easily.
Yeah, certainly aided by solid tempo, brought into the race by Welcome Gold, but he did the best thing on Sky Train and was not getting to the front too early, and when he did, he really let rip down the inside.
Got to ask you a question about Dunedin. You wrote an article in the paper about Dunedin finishing 6th in the King George the 6th Stakes.
Yes, I can't see this horse coming to Melbourne to defend his Melbourne Cup crown. Before the race, the connections had sort of indicated if he ran well, top 3, they'd go towards the arc. If he finished sort of below standard, he'd maybe come to Melbourne for another crack at the Melbourne Cup. Circumstances around the race suggest that he ran very well, but nothing went to plan. He was left in front a long way out. David Redford, the racing manager for Sheikh Farhad, has indicated that the horse is probably going to go towards the arc.
OK, Nick, you're a follower of overseas racing. Is there anything out of that race did you spot?
Well, apart from the fact that Dunedin was completely ridden upside down, he's never raced like that in his life. So why did they think, we'll send him to the front and just set him a ridiculous task before going to a race like the Arc? So it'd be great to see him come back, but I don't know. I'd be bringing him back for the Melbourne Cup, but I think the owners have probably got a little bit more whippy an idea than me. OK, let's have a look at that Melbourne Cup market with you, Michael. Lucas Cranach at $15, $16 Americane, Red Cadeau. Dunedin at $19 and $23 Mawingo Green Moon Colour Vision Mount Athos. Any money?
It's just it's an international race, isn't it? Absolutely. Lucas Cranach being kept safe. Interesting to the Dunedin from what Brent was saying there, because if we get confirmation that it's definitely coming, the $19 it'll short it up extremely quickly. Mawingo, there's probably the big watch on it after what we saw it do during the winter. There's been money for Colour Vision, Mount Athos, Jackleberry, Val Champ, and even going down to Senegas. All these internationals have been spec'd as soon as words come that they're coming out here. For the local punter, I mean, to be honest, it's a raffle, isn't it? We see all these international names every year and see the international form. It's all about how they come over here, how they settle in. We've seen in the past couple of years, it's the ones who have progressed well and blossomed, like Dunedin, Americane coming through the Geelong Cup. And I think it's hard to have a bet this early until you see how they go in Australia.
What about the Caulfield Cup? Atlantic Jewel, we had a bit of a discussion. What sort of weight's she going to get, and is she going to go to the Caulfield Cup? I'm
not quite sure where her rating sits in Racing Victoria, but geez, I can't imagine.
Wait for Rage Race as a 3-year-old.
As a 3-year-old filly, but still as a 4-year-old mare,
she gets what, 55 half or something?
I'm not too much of an expert on sort of where the horses will be weighted this far out, but I can imagine they're just going to go towards the Cox Plate. I can't imagine that the Caulfield Cup's high on their agenda.
Nick, what about you?
Staggered if she goes to the Caulfield Cup. What would you think, Nick?
Yeah, look, it'd be great if she did, because she might run a nice placing behind Sibillionaire, but I think at this point in time, Cav's said the Cox Plate, and that's what she'll be aimed at, and that's what, it's very hard to see her not winning.
Sibillionaire. How much have you got this going for? Are you a part owner or something?
No,
or are you
I wish I was.
You're getting a kickback from Brett Spicer Thoroughbreds, that's what it is.
It's a new name. He's got it going for $1 billion anyway. But there was an interesting couple of topics that have come up during the week in racing around Australia, and two of them have absolutely blown my head away. One of them at Canberra on Friday. You take us through the no dead heat.
Yeah, this was an interesting race. Race number 8 at Canberra on Friday, Russell. We saw two horses go to the line. Dead heat was given by the judge between Rules Point and Bell Edition. Subsequent to that, interim dividends were given. Connections of the horse Rules Point objected against the photo, fired in a protest against the judge's decision. The stewards went up to the judge's box, had a look at
How do you protest a judge's decision?
Well, they did, and
because I wanted to protest about 100 over the years.
Yeah, well, they certainly did, and they got their decision right, because the stewards then went and viewed the footage in the judge's box, and there was 3 stewards, and it was unanimous that there was a margin. So then the dead heat was overturned, Rules Point given the winner, and Bell Edition runs second. So if you're on Bell Edition, you've thought, oh, well, dead heat's something.
But now, boys, they're trying to say they want Racing New South Wales to intervene.
Well, I want that judge and I want those stewards to come down and have a look at the photo finish at race 6 Bendigo yesterday, because it's still not over for us with Orlando's Bride, if that's the case. I think the judge has made a blue, and if there is a direct margin there, it should be paid out the punters collect. You'd rather see the correct winner named the winner rather than a mistake being made. If the judges made a blue, they protested, good on them, and I think it should end there.
OK, well, let's have a look at this tweet from David Hayes Racing, so Lindsay Park Racing, and you'd expect that this tweet has got something to do with the most overreaction I've ever seen on a racetrack, anywhere, anytime, or in fact sporting. Something for tonight's show, boys. Political correctness gone mad. Following a single complaint to the Registrar of Racehorses, we've been told to rename last start winner Blackman. 2-year-old filly by Stallion, excellent art, named after famous Australian artist Charles Blackman. Quinny.
Absolutely ridiculous. As Black's a fake and Blackie and some other horses that are still going around, are they going to have to change their name? It's political correctness gone mad. Do-gooders are going to ruin this world, and this is the first step.
And, of course, our famous horse is Black Caviar. Now, does that mean we can't call a horse White this or, you know, whatever the case may be?
Oh, it's astounding, really, and it's not a good representation of the racing industry in the general media. This time of year, the only time racing gets in mainstream media is when there is a monumental stuff-up like this. I don't know who made the decision at Riser to jump off with one complaint, but I think it's one that everyone in the racing industry would be ruining at this stage, because it now makes it look even worse than it was when there was absolutely nothing behind it. And as Quinny said, there are that many horses with black names, and as you said, the most famous horse in the country has got black in it. It's just a real shame that this has gone the way it has. OK, and the horse has now been renamed Lady Blackman, which is actually even more confusing than just calling it Blackman. Yeah, I'll stay out of this one. OK, but on the plus side, let's have a look at some other names that might have slipped through to the Riser keeper way back in the day. The bloke who named Richard Cranium did have a sense of humour, didn't he? Yes, and as this Lilydale Steve has said here, it's a very, very good, interesting name there, Richard Cranium. How they missed that one, Michael, is beyond me. I don't know, but it was a beauty, and there's a couple of other good ones as well. I know there's a horse that was called East Canal or Near Canal not so long ago, and they wanted to get the full brother named a different type of canal, but I don't think it got through. Yeah, this is a greyhound, not a racehorse obviously, but Norma Stitz. Was a greyhound that Ron Hawkswell had a lot of fun with. Some of the quotes were, Norma Stitz has got huge support. Norma Stitz bounced out. And Norma Stitz is hanging out. Quinny, that's up your alley.
No, I'm not touching this one. I'll get it.
Oh, you're not touching
it myself.
You're not going to touch Norma Stitz? No. That's always been an issue. This is one that the boys from puntersparadise.com.au have had some fun with recently. Here's an American commentator. The horse is named Hoof Hearted. Have a listen to this.
Extreme outside. Colorado Co-Ed. Toast a dozen on the inside. Quester's Jet. Who farted? Who farted on the outside? It's close. Who farted in the winner's circle?
Now there's a question best left unanswered. As we say, see you later to our four-legged friend.
How do you get who farted out?
Yeah, no, it's certainly certainly plenty of people with probably a little bit too much time on their hands going through those names.
Oh, well, anyway. What, Nicholas? You enjoyed that little, nothing like a little hearted joke to keep you laughing, mate, on a Monday?
I love the American commentators as well. They're so over the top and they barely call anything, but it's always entertaining.
They never call fifth, I'll give you the tip. I tell you what, let's have a look at the Black Bookers. We've had a couple of posts on the website about how do you find a Black Booker and whether it's worthwhile or not. Have a look at this one from What Tips from our Paradise Punters, puntersparadise.com.au website. Black booking is an art that is not only about highlighting impressive performances with good merit, but also about highlighting horses that have been fluked and flattered.
I certainly like a black book to just keep a reminder. There's a lot of good websites out there that you can punch in the horses that you want to follow and they send you a reminder the day that it comes. And I know myself, Snow Lion last week at Scone, I was working away and then I seen the results. I hadn't put it in my black book, but I intended to, got the cash at $2.80 and I let it go through the keeper.
Michael, are you a fan of black bookers?
I think Quinny's just hit the nail on the head. Everyone, when you're watching the replays or you see a horse flashing home or is unlucky, you go, geez, I've got to remember that one. Next time I want to be on it. And if you don't write it down, you invariably forget it and miss it. I think that's the best way to go. These websites and even you know, the punting sites that can give you the reminders anytime you see or hear of one of your horses. It's always a good way to go. Quinny, have you got it? You'd have a big black book, but it wouldn't just be
SMSs every
animals,
hour.
Hey?
Well, you've gone the early crow saying I've made a good point, so now I can say something ridiculous and make us both look bad. Look, black booking is essential, and that's a fantastic tweet because it's not only about pointing out the horses that you do want to be on next time, but just as importantly, pointing out the horses you don't want to be. A horse might have been flattered, and next time it's going to go around a short price favourite, and you say, going to go wide in this leg of the quaddie.
Yeah.
Now, that black book that we had a tweet, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago or last week, Russ, where you didn't call a girl back. Was that something you forgot to put in the black book?
We're moving right along, punters.
It's a whole other book that Quinny's got, and we'll get to that shortly. Let's have a look at the hits and misses from centrebet.com.
Absolutely. Sky Train, as you touched on before, had been a bit of a non-winner, but one punter was very happy with the 4,000 at 3.30. Australian Star, 2,000 at the 6.50. Star Lani, one of the best back runners in Australia for the day, and I'll tell you, it's one to follow from the Oliver camp. 10,000 at 2.70, and gee, she lengthened very nicely in the last 100. Golden Archer, we spoke before, someone took the overs at 4.60, and Daida in the last race was a nice win there. A few misses though. Madam Nash, as you spoke about, shocking. Soldad, as we spoke about also. Galileo Gold was disappointing in Melbourne, I thought, an instalment we've spoken about. And a couple of the big plungers, as I said, Starlani came off, and the others there, unfortunately, horses like Noble Park and Night War left the punters lamenting.
Yeah, we'll just brush over those plunges that didn't work at this stage. Well, no need to talk about those.
No, you only talk about the positives.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we'll take a break here on Talkin Thru Your Kick, the segment that everyone loves. What's Doing Quinny is just around the corner.